welcome back. This is it. This is week 10. It's Monday. I didn't film anything else at the end of last week because I was quite busy starting to move out of my apartment. But yeah, I have 3 days left until my exam. It's 4 p.m. on Monday. I've just been kind of chilling by myself at home, running some errands. I feel like I've been studying too long. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like 10 weeks was too long. There's not really much I can do about it though, so.
Incorporated into viral DNA, phosphorylated 3 times to be exact. Acyclovir is first converted into acyclovir monophosphate via virus-encoded thymine kinase. Then, just like cidofovir, phosphorylate is not activated by viral protein kinases. In fact, it does not require intracellular activation at all.
To do so, this is the most powerful portion of the immune system. Another feature of the adaptive immune system that's unique is that it has memory. So if you get infected by the same pathogen 2 times, the second infection will elicit a quicker and more powerful response from the adaptive.
So as if the timing wasn't perfect enough, I got my complex scores back today, just now, and I passed. Yay! Okay, anyway, back to immunology because that's what I'm doing right now. Good morning, afternoon, I don't know what time it is. I had way too much coffee this morning, so I'm like all kinds of messed up right now.
Now let's go back and remind yourself that cells have a sodium-potassium pump, and the goal of that pump is to push sodium outside the cell. If the pump fails, in particular here, due to a lack of probably the most important carcinogen within cigarette smoke, recall that I mentioned that there are about 40 carcinogens in cigarette smoke, for example arsenic, but the most important carcinogen in cigarette smoke are polycyclic hydrocarbons. These are particularly mutagenic. Now generally speaking, the urothelium, which is the lining of the collecting system of the kidney,
Hello everybody, welcome to the last day of the boards video saga. It's been a long journey. I didn't film much this week because for basically all of it I've been home, and so I've just been enjoying time with my family. A lot of my family members are home right now, so I'm not gonna pull out the camera and stick it in their faces. But yesterday, I basically just reviewed a couple of topics that I wanted to see one last time, and then spent the rest of the day relaxing. We watched the new In the Heights movie. That was really good. And it is 6:50 in the morning, and I am driving to the testing center, which is about 35 minutes away from my house. My lunchbox just fell over. And yeah. Honestly, I'm not really feeling nervous at all, and I think that's because I just want to be done with it at this point. Plus, I got my complex score back, and that was completely fine, even though I felt pretty bad after it, so I'm not worried. I'm actually a little bit excited to go in there and basically just do the best that I can. So yeah, this is basically gonna be it for the rest of the vlog. Obviously, I'll talk about it afterward. Yeah, I'll catch you guys after the exam. The saga is officially over, guys, and I am officially a third-year medical student. I don't know if you guys have any interest in me talking about how I felt about these exams. I think it would be better to do so once I got all of my scores, so that way I could kind of correlate how I feel with the scores that I end up getting, which I won't be sharing on the internet because I feel like that's not very nice, but I felt like this one went pretty well, and that kind of makes sense because a lot of the materials that I was using to prepare were geared towards this exam and not necessarily complex, and so I felt better about this one than complex. But anyway, that's the end of an era for me. That's the end of my board studying. I'm so excited that it's finally done. I'm hopefully gonna go get Rita's later today and just like totally chill and do absolutely nothing, because I feel like at this point I deserve it. And tomorrow we are moving all of my stuff out of my apartment, which is gonna be a nightmare. So I need to relax today, I think. It's been a while. This is a little crooked. Hello everybody, welcome back. It is now several months later. It's already the end of August and I am fully into my clinical rotations. I'm about to be halfway through my second clinical rotation, and I just kind of wanted to wrap up this video and speak freely about my experiences with the 2 exams that I took, because at the time I found it really difficult to talk about because I was so overwhelmed with it just being over and being done studying, and I didn't want to think about it. But now that it's been a couple of months, I just wanted to give you my overall thoughts on the entire process. So the first thing that I'll start out by saying is I used pretty much all of the resources that I mentioned in my board's resources video, and I don't think I would really change any of those resources. The only thing that I would maybe consider is not using as many NBME practice tests, because, spoiler alert, I ended up scoring about 20 points better on my actual exam than I did on any of my practice exams. And so I don't really think they're an accurate resource in order to determine exactly how well you're gonna do on the exam. And they say that this is just for practice. You can't use it to compare to a score. But of course, people are gonna compare to a score anyway. And so I just found that they weren't exactly reflective of my performance on the step 1 exam. So if you're using them, use them more as practice questions rather than a practice test. But other than that, boards and beyond, sketchy micro and pathoma were kind of my lifelines throughout this entire process. And of course, first aid was a necessity. Some people really don't like to use first aid. I didn't find that it was really necessary for me to go through every single page of first aid, but if I was watching a video, I would annotate into first aid, and then if I found something that I didn't really know about, I would add it into first aid, but I didn't go through and meticulously make sure I was covering every single page like a lot of people say that they do. The second thing that I kind of wasn't really expecting was that I thought for me that COMLEX was significantly harder than USMLE. And I think part of that probably has to do with the fact that I don't really do well with standardized testing, especially really long standardized tests. And COMLEX is significantly longer at about 360 questions versus 280 for the USMLE. And I found that my stamina was just really struggling by question 300. And I think that played a little bit into my performance as well, which was something that I was ready for because I knew that I was going to have to work up this stamina to be able to do that many questions, and it was still definitely a large challenge. If I could go back and rework my schedule, I would probably have taken COMLEX about a week after the USMLE, but obviously that wasn't really an option for me. The scheduling system was still a little bit messed up because of COVID, and I just didn't want to push my COMLEX back that far, so ideally I would have taken it about a week after USMLE. I think I would stick with that if I were to do it again. I don't really think it's appropriate to share my exact scores, but I am not the person who's scoring 260 on step 1 or super high scores on COMLEX. I am a very average student, and for me, I scored pretty well, better than I was expecting, and well for the specialties that I am super interested in. So I am very happy with how everything turned out. You guys kind of saw my entire study process, so I don't think you need to see that again and have me go through exactly what I did each day, obviously. Another thing that I would maybe modify is not taking a vacation in the middle. I thought that it would be a nice way to refresh, but when I got back, it took me probably a solid week and a half to get that motivation back again because I didn't do any studying while I was on vacation. So if I was gonna do it again, I would probably put my vacation at the end. It's just how things worked out with having to move my exam. So what can you do? Overall, I'm pretty happy. I think that 8 weeks was probably the sweet spot for me. By week 9, I was really struggling and I took a lot of days off, hence why this vlog is pretty barren towards the exam date, because I wanted to make sure that I was nice and refreshed. And I think that was actually a really good thing because I felt like I had stamina throughout the entire Step 1 exam. And so if you can modify your schedule so that you afford a day off before, or even like a half day off. I think I did a half day off the day before. I would highly recommend that because it's nice to just like sit back and relax and not stress as much about this exam. And then the last thing that I'm gonna say is if you are in the process of studying for this exam and you're watching it right now and it's a couple days before your step exam and you're wondering whether or not you should push the exam back, I would say don't push it back. I had my finger literally over the reschedule button a couple days before my step 1, and I ultimately decided not to delay it, and I'm so glad I did that. I got it over with, and I obviously did fine, so it's gonna be fine. Don't delay your exam if you don't absolutely have to, because that's just gonna make life harder in the long run. And especially for those of you where USMLE step 1 is going to be pass-fail, just take the exam and do your best and get it over with. And that's honestly the biggest piece of advice I could give. I am so glad that I didn't end up postponing it again. All right, with that, that is the end of my step studying experience. It was pretty painful, I would say. I was pretty exhausted by the end of it. But now that I'm in clinicals, I'm so happy. It is so much fun to actually be in the hospital. There is genuinely a light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that hearing that while you're in the step 1 studying process is super annoying because you don't feel like it is. You feel like this is some never-ending, horrible experience that you have to go through. And I'm not gonna tell you to not feel that way because everybody does. I just want to let you know that there's something to look forward to at the end of it. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and following along with my board study videos. Sorry for the delay in the videos and the change in my upload schedule. Obviously, since I've started clinicals, I've been super busy. So thank you so much for sticking around. If you haven't already, subscribe down below and catch me in videos in the future talking about what 3rd year of medical school is like and what clinicals are like. I'm already planning on doing a video for each rotation on my reflections of each rotation, and so if you guys are looking forward to those kinds of videos, definitely subscribe, leave a like on this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.